I have been scammed, and if you're watching this right now, there's a high chance they've nearly gotten you too. A few days ago, whilst doing some super important research, I stumbled upon an advert on Facebook that somehow managed to do the unthinkable and pull my attention away from videos of Pocopia and a cute baby monkey so I could watch this garbage fire instead. It was for a small local family-run business called Claire Jewellery that, thanks to a cruel twist of fate, had come upon hard times and was having a closing down sale to get rid of all their remaining stock. It's just another example of how the world truly is a cruel, cruel place. Let's play the video out for a minute so we can hear their tale of woe.
Soon I will be saying farewell to my boutique, a place filled with unique handmade jewelry crafted from...
Clearly in their eyes, small, local and family run were actually instructions, because if you see this creature out in the wild, you and your family need to run closer to it so you can give it your credit card information. Okay, I'll be the first to admit these people are straight up scam artists. Who could have seen this coming? Scamming people out of their money and the internet go hand in hand, like, well, scamming people out of their money in the internet. I simply cannot think of a stronger bond than that. You see, for as long as humans have had the ability to create true works of art in Microsoft Paint and then watch some funny cat videos on a second monitor, you'd only need to scroll down a smidge to find some little freak talking in the comment section about how their grandmother makes millions a month using this simple little trick. But unless that little trick involves crossword puzzles, casual racism and Werther's Originals, clearly they're leaving so much money on the table. If you've spent any time online, you've probably had someone or something trying to steal your personal information or life savings from you. I feel like we're all very much numb to it at this point. Just last month, multiple bots tried contacting me through Microsoft Teams of all places, where they kept asking me to send them photos of myself, which is obviously weird, but did that weirdness stop me from continuing to talk to one of them out of pure curiosity? No. Susan Rogers, if you're out there, you will find love. It just won't come in the form of a lanky British man with no social skills standing in front of a green screen. I know, the world truly is a cruel place. Nowadays, things have only gotten much worse. Thanks to the explosion of artificial intelligence, we find ourselves in an era where everyone and their mother now has the ability to turn themselves into Sabrina Carpenter at the drop of a hat and still find some time to make some biblically accurate British people. I'm pretty sure I've sat next to this guy on the train. As horrifying as that photo actually is, we all knew where this was going. Although those in favour of this nightmare fuel may constantly protest this fact, a piece of technology that only functions because of theft on an unprecedented scale, perpetrated by people who have no idea what it means to be a functioning human being.
One of the things that is really hard about good ideas is that original thought is really hard.
It was always leading us to the most predictable plot twist since Logan Paul outed himself as knowing nothing about Pokemon, or the 500,000 NFT purchase, or the CryptoZoo rug pull, or, now that I think about it, the Lunchley mold thing. God, what a glittered CV this man has. No matter what they say, it was always going to end up this way.
AI is certainly making this much more complex and much more complicated for consumers. Deep fake imagery, phishing, fake videos and voices is making it much harder to spot a fraudulent scam.
I mean, things have gotten so advanced right now that they're able to do things I never thought personally were physically possible, like making a relative of the royal family look more horrifying than generations of inbreeding ever got the chance to. Even I've got to admit, that is impressive. Time and time again, we're seeing horror stories of people conned into sending over vast sums of money purely because they saw an AI-generated version of their favourite celebrity tell them to do so. It's genuinely heartbreaking to read about. A report from Juniper Research found that last year in the UK, over 95 billion scam adverts were shown to users on social media, with the number being expected to rise to over 130 billion by 2030. Again, that is just in the UK. Look how small we are on a map. The only thing we should be having 130 billion of every year is chimney sweep disasters and life-saving dental appointments. Anything else is just absurd. As we all know, the internet has become this hellish place where you are fed lies every day that you cannot differentiate between. So it's no wonder that on Facebook and Instagram, these things are absolutely thriving. Their less than stellar reputation has earned them them the annoyingly cool name of ghost stores, as they consistently lie about having a physical storefront when in reality they're entirely operated online and based overseas, continually stealing as much revenue from legitimate retailers as they can.
Louise thought she was buying an off-the-shoulder top with billowing pants. Let's take a look. No.
They're not unique or special in any way. They're the latest in an increasingly long line of scumbags taking advantage of people who don't even know scams like this are a remote possibility.
The truth is, I have to close my little jewellery shop next Wednesday.
To many of you watching this right now, you may be in the same boat as I was when I actually sat down to write this script, surrounded by cats who won't let me stand up. How do people actually end up falling for any of this stuff? Surely it's as clear as sunlight breaking through the clouds above that they're a big fat scam. But sadly, this is where things take a depressing turn. Just look at our good old friends over at Eve Oxford. Because if you spend, I don't know, more than half a second paying attention to literally anything that's on your screen right now, which I know is a lot to ask for these days, so it really means a lot. Ooh, look, Subway Surfers, you would start to realise that something incredibly fishy is going on here. Moving aside from these obviously AI-generated photos of fake women, or perhaps this one where all they've done is gone into Photoshop and messed around with the hue tool, why doesn't this supposedly real store that's been open for decades have a physical address listed anywhere? My god, you're sleeping on the green screen. I've been invaded! Is it an artistic choice that I don't really understand that causes the entire layout and structure of your storefront to change from photo to photo, like you're forcing me into an incredibly elaborate game of Spot the Difference? Or are you just so popular that you have multiple stores across Oxford, but none of the addresses listed on your website? I didn't even find time to mention their truly abhorrent Trustpilot score, or the fact that all of their star photos look like set dressing from Resident Evil Village. I've been under the assumption that Eve Oxford was based in Oxford, but according to this, it's from Shenzhen Yujing E-Commerce Co. Haven't been to that street. Genuinely, this was one of the worst things I've ever held in my hand. It just feels disgusting. It's supposed to be a cat and not a petrified woodland creature. Look at its eyes! What have you seen? Tell me your secrets! No matter how many times these things get reported or taken down, another new store with another generic name will just pop up in its place, showing yet another fake old person tugging on your heartstrings that they have to close down their fake store after a fake twist of fate. It is the exact same thing every single time. But as you can see by the sheer avalanche of negative reviews these sites have on Trustpilot, clearly it actually works. People are buying from these sites. They've clearly found the perfect formula for the perfect audience, so this can work time and time again. It's for that exact same reason that so many Minecraft YouTubers are But the thing that completely baffles me about all of this is how horrendous the products actually are. I don't know if you could tell by looking at this. This is not the normal vibe for me. I can make Spot the Difference games too. Very much like a sailor adrift at sea. After hearing the siren song of Eve Oxford, my ear picked up another musical overture. This time coming from the kind fellows at Maya and Henry's Jewellery.
And these aren't your typical jewelers.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely he didn't choose to pay these specific scam artists because one of these fake elderly people has the same name as him? Who's to say? Maya and Henry's story is a tale like no other. After 33 years of crafting fine gold jewellery, they had to— Hang on a minute, it's exactly the same. The only difference is this time it's in 240p, there's no horrifying AI monstrosity threatening me with a mediocre time, and now they've just replaced it with audio from another person's video.
I hope you know that your heart is enough.
So at least this time it's a different kind of theft. Scrolling through their site, you can find such wonderful items as statement interlocking earrings, dash that I never know how to type on a keyboard, gold, priced at £22.95, down from 115 Great British pounds, all the way to a bubble letter initial necklace set in gold. You know, really high quality stuff. You can tell by how easily it breaks that it's good. These ghost stores set a very clear and pressing missing deadline. So if you actually want to buy some of this high quality jewelry, I know they sound the same, but I cannot get over it being spelt like that. In order to make sure that you actually buy some of this high quality jewelry, they create this artificial scarcity. It generates this fear of missing out, which forces you to act now, with this decision only being hammered into the back of the net once you see these insane price drops. Although I've said it's obvious to see some hints that these aren't legitimate businesses, the reddest red flag I could find is that if you search these business names up on Facebook and put closing down sale, you'll find multiple closing down sales from the exact same company. I don't know if this is a non-UK thing, but over here we've got a sofa store called DFS. In the entire 27 years of my existence, every single time I've seen an advert for this company, they've got a goddamn sale going on. It's always a Christmas sale, an Easter sale, a Tuesday sale. Brother, if things are always on sale, you cannot call that a sale. It's the normal fucking price. Ooh, I didn't think I could get so amped up about a sofa store. But with this, we're reaching a whole other level, because there is no way in hell that this thing was ever worth £185. You want to know how I know that? I bought it on Temu for £1.60. 18k gold-plated copper, shipping from China, is quite different to an Avalice Maraziel gold ring, made in Italy with only 4 left in stock. By the way, what is Avalice Maraziel? It sounds like a background location in Skyrim. Looking into it, it does seem to be a genuine thing with a lot of stores selling it. One tiny thing, all of these are ghost stores. Look at all of these incredibly old white people. It's like a Reform UK rally. It wasn't just this single product, by the way. All of these things could be found on sites like Temu and Alibaba for a 30th of the cost. Maybe the reason that all of these businesses are shutting down is because nobody is buying 80 pence worth of garbage for 250 quid. Just a thought. This isn't even exclusive to Maya and Henry, or even to the world of jewellery. Our good old friends at Eve Oxford absolutely do this too. You can see this Norvik Weird Line thermal fleece jacket, which is discounted from £89. It seemingly, when you look closer at the product, is from the fabled land of Nautdor, Norway. If you just search that exact phrase, you'll find it listed at half the price on sites like Shein and Temu. So all they've done is change the name a bit, whacked some fake reviews next to it, and all of that hard labour means they can double the price. The people who buy from adverts and sites like this are clearly unfamiliar with the trappings of artificial intelligence, and just continue to believe that the garbage that Facebook shoves in their feed every day is totally real without giving it a second thought. Look at the tape measure! Look at the tape measure! 88265583. 353. What are you measuring in? If you want to see more of that video, by the way, this is a dumb thing on Patreon. You don't have to click it. You're not missing much. I'm really not selling it, am I? Why does he look like me a little bit there? Because after all, it's an advert on Facebook. They're like a massive company. Why would they want to trick me? It plays to this wider idea that I've actually spoken about in a video on this channel before, the truth default theory. In everyday interactions, when you come face to face with other people, the people that you interact with, you believe are inherently telling you the truth. And unless they give you a glaringly obvious reason not to believe them, like for instance a British man waffling in a boggy field, the very thought that they are even lying to you wouldn't even cross your mind.
Our research shows that most of the times when people do detect deception, it's well after the fact.
It's for this exact same reason that in 2024, the FTC estimated that Americans lost $158 billion to scams, with all of this only being made much worse by the very nature of recommendation on Facebook. If you had enough data that shows which people are more likely to click on adverts and fall for scams like this, you could specifically target your scams and adverts to that very select group of people, creating this horrendous, all-consuming cycle of terror. In fact, at the start of last year, the Australian Competition and Consumer Consumer Commission started looking into these so-called ghost stores after a sharp rise in complaints from unhappy customers. And surprisingly, they came to the same conclusion as this idiot. In this article from The Guardian, Katie McLeod spoke to the co-director of the University of Melbourne's Centre for AI and Digital Ethics, Professor Jeannie Patterson. Apparently, the main reason that things are a little bit dodgy here is that they're saying they're discounting it from a storefront, and there is no storefront, which means there's no real discount. This is close to a scam. I'm sorry, close to a scam? So if I set up a business called Definitely Not McDonald's and I sold hamburgers that I definitely didn't buy from McDonald's at a much higher price, technically speaking, I would not be scamming people. Who needs a Patreon? Clearly this is the way to go full time.
Now that I've gotten on the internet, I'd rather be on my computer than doing just about anything.
It's really cool.
In some regards, I'm almost nostalgic for those heady days where it felt like scam artists had to spend time weaving intricate webs for potential victims to fall into, whereas nowadays all you gotta do is download some cheap product that turns your face into a famous celebrity and record a TikTok about it. Where is the passion? Where is the creativity? Where are those super clickbaity adverts you would always see on the side of websites that you definitely shouldn't be on? What happened to them? Well, doctors would be shocked by what happens next. Did somebody say scam? No? Well, my hearing isn't too good these days, not because of the old man costume, but more so because of the crippling tinnitus. For those of you out there who have no idea what I'm talking about, these things are called Chum boxes. They're They're absolutely the most bottom of the barrel clickbaity garbage that use morally perplexing and confusing thumbnails to capture your attention. But enough about Mr. Beast videos. What are Chum boxes? The dissolvable dog poo bag taking off in the US. Well, I don't have a dog or the need to pick up feces, but I'm incredibly intrigued. Inherently, they aren't all downright scams, with most of them linking to an article that sort of has something to do with the original advert. However, I would say that most of them are absolutely scam adjacent. They're definitely on the spectrum of predatory stealing. I mean, their own name highlights this. Basically, it's big stinky bait to throw in the water and attract marine life. And for some reason, our equivalent of that is a bald man pouring pink goo on his head. I don't know what it says about me as a person, but I really want to click on that. This link took me to an article written by E. Johnson, who had apparently attended the well-known academic establishment, the British University in Birkenhead, which for those of you out there who are not as familiar with England, straight up doesn't exist, so we're off to a flying start. Throughout the article we hear this tale of joy. Supposedly from a young age he had always dreamed of helping his grandfather and father recover from baldness, and as you can see by this side-by-side picture, clearly he achieved it. Are you taking the piss? I don't want to make a sweeping generalisation about this man's character here, but clearly these photos are swapped around. He still has the joy of innocence in his eyes and this dude's angry about being bald. But instantly I ate my words, because look at this truly miraculous recovery of E. Johnson's totally real father. I mean, it really is a modern marvel, and definitely not the exact same man with a Snapchat filter applied to him. After doing some reverse image searching, I was only left even more confused because I found the exact same article, but this time it spoke about E. Johnson attending the American University in Denver. Clearly they've got a third identical triplet attending the French University in Nice. Just like those ghost stores, these Chumbox ads are very much targeted to a specific demographic, shown by the fact that in order to actually encounter one of these things I had to do something unheard of and read a newspaper. Not even in the cool way like spies sitting on a bench waiting for a secret meeting, but rather the online one that keeps spamming you for permission to send you notifications and then shows you far too many photos of half-naked women. You know, the truest form of journalism? Within minutes of clicking on the strangest article I could find, I was bombarded with age-appropriate problems I clearly have to deal with now. Retirees are ditching £400 optical specs for these £29 German-engineered glasses. And as you can tell, I clearly lived through the 1900s, so I have feelings towards Germany. I don't know what age this character, I am supposed to be. In the article we hear from Robert Sterling, well-known optometrist who has personally recommended these Zoom glasses to well over 200 patients in the past 6 months, spreading across the UK faster than any vision product he's seen in his 19 years of practice. I don't know about you, but is anybody else getting a major sense of deja vu here? All of this may look different, but it's the exact same piece of garbage just covered up with a different coat of paint. I mean, they've got all the greatest hits on offer here. Like when you get to the checkout, you can see how heavily discounted this product is. And then every 7 to 8 seconds, the name of a supposedly real person who has just bought this product keeps flashing up, enticing you that you've got to buy now, otherwise you might miss out. All the way to fake testimonials from people who are definitely actors, AI generated, or straight up stock footage. Just look at E. Johnson's article about pink goo, where we get to hear from Daniel Roberts, an expert from the University of Trichology. Again, this doesn't exist, but listen to how happy I get when I see him.
It's him again! He's back! Oh, it's like Emperor Palpatine somehow returned.
This wasn't because I'm such a big fan of Dr. Daniel's work, but rather in an earlier Chumbox ad I clicked on that looked like this, they used the exact same man whose practice was called, hang on a minute, this might take a little while to pronounce, it's quite difficult, Getty Images? Must be German. Not to be rude to the people at Besna, but who in their right mind would spend £60 on this garbage? You know they're good glasses when they're kept in a fucking plastic bag. More German writing on the fucking lens. Oh my god. Okay, I can see here, but I could also see here when I had no glasses on. In fact, it's just blurrier and coloured blue. The problem is I now can't read my script because it's down there. Here we have the EM Sense Triple Method Massager, which I was clickbaited to buying because of an incomplete sentence. Or should I say the cordless ankle heating pad? Again with a Chinese address. Fighting neuropathy. This new device is leaving doctors... ... Leaving doctors what? Happy? Sad? At the altar? I simply had to know.
That's quite loud, isn't it? I can make it change pitch. Terrible product.
Yeah, as I sit here looking like one of SpongeBob's grandparents, you may be thinking to yourself, this doesn't seem too scammy. I mean, you've actually got the products in front of you, so this can't be all bad. But would it shock you to know that all of these things could be purchased on Temu, Amazon, and even Walmart for a fraction of the cost? Take these Besna Opti Readers Pro, valued by Robert Sterling at £60, including delivery. I found them on Amazon for £8. As you can see, these revolutionary German-engineered spectacles are actually made in China, with such glowing reviews as this cheap plastic rubbish would be expensive at 99p. And you're better off going to the coast and buying a pair of pink kid sunglasses for £1. Not really taking the world by storm, are they, Robert? Unless by storm you mean the one from The Wizard of Oz that kidnapped a bunch of people and squished a witch? And sure, it's all well and good to laugh and joke about this, but surely it's in everybody's best interests, at the lowest possible level, for the adverts you see and scroll past on a daily basis to actively not be trying to steal money from you. Surely that's like the best you can ask for. How can these people just lie about the health benefits and then invent experts and testimonials to solidify those claims? All to take advantage of an aging population that all of this stuff is very clearly targeting. They may be confusing to look at and make you reevaluate everything you ever thought about life, but these adverts are stealing less than valuable real estate for legitimate businesses selling legitimate products to legitimate people who don't use ad blocker. Just because your grandma hasn't figured out how to do that yet doesn't mean that she should be subjected to this stuff. Finally, I get to take all of this off. I get to Benjamin Button myself back to reality. Oh my god. I feel like there's a line on my forehead. Surely everybody remembers that film with the wrinkly old baby. Goo Goo Gaga and all that. I didn't quite get the age jump right. The Global Anti-Scam... It's so funny to do this whilst I look like this. The Global Anti-Scam Alliance estimated that people lost more than $1 trillion to scammers in 2024. Yet in that exact same year, something miraculous happened as Madam Web came out in theatres, destroying audiences everywhere. Coincidence? I think not. Oh yeah, it was also the same year that Jeff Horowitz reported for Reuters that Meta had projected 10% of its revenue from 2024 came from ads for scams and banned goods. totaling the small amount of money of $16 billion. Goo goo ga. That's shocking. It's the worst I've ever looked. I'm glad you could only see from this way up. You could be sitting there reasonably thinking, hey, Henry, are you doing okay? Are things going well in your personal life? Maybe look at me and realise the end to that statement. But also you could reasonably ask, maybe Meta don't know about these scams because they're such a big company and they clearly don't know every single thing that's posted on their site. But to that I say, yeah, I'm fine. And also, if a company is pulling in 10% of its total revenue from these scam adverts, they obviously know what's fucking going on. That's not even me making a huge leap in logic here. In that same article from Jeff Horowitz, he stated how Meta fully know that fines are coming for these scam adverts, but the money that they actually bring in from the scam adverts being on their platform vastly outweighs the fine that they're going to get, which, by the way, is $1 billion. Excuse me? Clearly common sense has fucking pinged out the poorly generated mid-journey window. Why aren't we all doing crime all of the time? I also don't think it's a huge coincidence that months after this was released, Mark Zuckerberg suddenly announced that they're introducing community notes and they're not censoring stuff anymore. Because if you're making money from scammy garbage that's put on your platform, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to put scammy garbage on your platform. It's not a huge leap, is it? But clearly real people are being caught in the crossfire here, just so this offensively rich lizard man with a shit haircut can become even more offensively rich and have an even shitter haircut. Just listen to the story of Eddie Rush, published in an article for the BBC by Ita Dungan in November of last year. Rush lost over £35,000 from cryptocurrency scams after seeing AI-generated videos of Sakir Starmer and Piers Morgan talking about this new way to make money that he saw on social media. Eddie felt like he had to do it in order to leave a nest egg for his family. He was put in contact with Sophie, who called him multiple times a day and slowly walked him through the process, which ultimately led him to transferring 13 grand to these scammers. Once it happened, they didn't contact him anymore. Due to the nature of social media recommendations, it wasn't long until it happened once again, as this time Eddie lost £20,000 as he attempted to claw back the money he had initially lost. 3 months later, he suffered a stroke, to which his own son said came about because of intense stress. These are genuine, real people, completely oblivious to the trappings and pitfalls of artificial intelligence. Because, unlike me, they actually have a life to live. I mean, who on earth sits in front of a camera looking like this, yeah? I mean, things are only going to get so much worse from here. I mean, it's hard for me to admit, but AI is getting shockingly good real fast. It's not like this is just a problem on Facebook. People are being conned over text messages and emails, receiving phone calls that have AI-generated recreations of the voices of their loved ones. Young children like me being lured into clicking on incredibly suspect things and adverts for K-pop Demon Hunters 2 in the sidebar of YouTube videos. If you look over there right now, there could be one if you don't have ad blocker. People are even being seduced into romance scams with bots that are mimicking the appearance of people's deceased loved ones. What the fuck? Technology is advancing at a worrying rate, and something absolutely has to be done about this. These companies cannot be given a free pass here. I mean, just listen to this sobering quote in an article from Think Global Health, where Cynthia Lean spoke to an elderly man who had been scammed by a romance bot, and this was his reply. I know the bot doesn't really love me, but guess what? She texts me when I wake up. My children won't even call me in a month. Jesus. This is all really undercut by the outfit I'm wearing, isn't it? I guess there's nothing we can do. Unless I can find a way to seduce the bots that are trying to seduce me. Just you wait, Susan Rogers. Your metaphysical days of living life on a computer somewhere are nearly over. Subscribe if you want to be invited to the wedding. Or funeral, I guess, depending on how the conversation goes. I'm open to both options. A massive thank you to everybody on the wall, and now we'll end the video with a truly horrifying sight. Look, I'm fucking wearing knee highs. I don't know if you can see. This is going to be such a jump scare. My hat's not going to fit in the fucking...